this week we have an awesome show with two awesome ladies and me. I am joined today by ERIKA Ishii,
but I mostly say
Ishii, and BECCA Scott. They are both hosts of the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. You can watch them at all hours of the day, all the time. I was recently on BECCA's show, Scared Silly, and I'll be back again for a second episode of being scared and crying and pissing my pants.
Yep.
Anyway,
just a little bit of piss.
So let's be really smooth about this and move over to the new news we have today from Ubisoft. They have just announced Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This is set in 1868 London, well, around England, but primarily in London. In the Industrial Revolution, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Let's take a look at the new trailer.
The working class sleepwalks through life, unaware of the machine that drives them. Let's wake them up then, shall we?
Gangs of New York, London style. So this will feature two protagonists, though primarily it will be Jacob Frye and his sis. He will be the primary character. Secondary is his sister Evie. They're twins, like Luke and Leia, and Wanda and Pietro, and all that stuff. Those pictures are actually leaked. They are not official images that have been released yet, but that is how Evie looks in her different outfits, looking pretty great. You can't not think that this didn't come from last year's debacle with the women are hard to animate. Maybe a misspoken word. Sorry. Speaking of that, irony. It was maybe a mistaken quote, or maybe it was not a cool thing to happen. But either way, it did become a huge controversy. So now there's a woman, a secondary woman, but she's still a playable character.
If she's going to be a deuteragonist, where is she in the trailer?
Yeah, this is mainly Jacob's story. You're getting that really early on, and she's not in a lot of the stills if you're looking at the official ones either. But yay?
I think they're doing a good job. They've learned from the mistakes. Actually, Assassin's Creed China just was released recently.
Yeah.
And you play as a Chinese woman, and it's a gorgeous little game, and good for them. They kind of are trying to do a pullback on their PR blunders.
I mean, I think this game looks incredible, and that trailer looks like a music video, but it's just not enough of, like Mass Effect did it really well in that your character is customizable and you can make it male or female and they're equal parts. It's not, this is a male character, but we'll give you a couple female scenes so you guys feel like you got
something. Do you feel like it's token or like throwing a bone?
I feel like it's definitely throwing a bone because they got railed so hard last time when Unity came out.
Well, what's funny is when they announced Syndicate today, which it was filmed today, what we're doing, they also sort of owned up to the messes they made in Unity, which was kind of shocking. So one of the staffers said AC Unity was the first one in the AC brand where we saw it was a much lower Metacritic, or as another bluntly put it, it's like you're a kid being told you're ugly and fat, it hurts, it breaks your heart a little bit. So it was kind of, well, they owned up to the glitches and, you know, remember those eyeballs and being stuck in certain areas. And
sure.
Maybe Unity was, not maybe, Unity was a little bit off.
It was gorgeous. The art was one of the best art we saw last year for video games, but they shipped a broken game. They're still giving away freebies right now to apologize for giving us a broken game.
Well, it sounds like their schedule was just too cramped and they put themselves on too tight a timeline, which is why they said, oh, we can't animate this in time to have a female character as well. And you know, maybe they just took a little more time with this one, so they hopefully won't have those same glitches.
Well, there are different studios in the Ubisoft brand. And this one, so there are some new elements released for it. You can watch their official gameplay video, which is also released today, of pre-alpha footage. So we don't know how much of this is going to make this to the final version. By the way, will be released in holiday 2015. So one thing they added was Grand Theft Carriage. You can steal carriages from the road, and you will face the same kinds of consequences you might face in Grand Theft Auto, whereas if a police officer sees you, you're in trouble. If you don't drive on the right side of the street, you're in trouble. They're relegating people to the sidewalks now because we are moving into the modern age. This is the first one that's out of the medieval period, and there are certain more societal changes. Allegedly, the stealth is smoother. I don't know. I haven't held the controller in my hands and couldn't tell you. Boats and trains will be featured, though they have not revealed how and what capacity yet. You will get a rope launcher, which is, if you've played the Arkham games, it's very much the same as Batman's grappling hook, which looks fun. Though, you know, we could compare these games in the past. Now they're getting closer and closer to being kind of the same game in many ways, at least in terms of rhythm and gameplay. Apparently more melee-based, which makes sense in these London slums, and this is around the time when stealth weapons became more prevalent, which fits perfectly with the assassin way. We also have side missions contributing to a goal, and there will be characters such as Charles Darwin and Charles Dickens figuring into the plot somewhere.
Oh I love historical cameos in movies and in video games, and then just can't wait to geek out about that because the Victorian era had some of our greatest minds.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, it's just this is a turning point. I mean, we had the Industrial Revolution, so we see more mechanized and more urban than ever before. But we also have, Charles Darwin has started to write and started to challenge the dogma of the church, and it's not as strong as it used to be, and there's all these different forces against each other. And we have, it was mentioned in the trailer, class warfare, which is something we've seen before in many Assassin's Creed games, but I think that's interesting. I like it. As a young Turk, I'm very much into that.
Yeah, I love when games tackle, issues, even though they're not issues today, but they're things that were really interesting to people in the time, and just watching them deal with those social, societal issues is super exciting, and that makes the game even more dimensional and more interesting.
For sure. But, we only have the beginnings now. We don't know how Syndicate is going to shape up and how much different we're going to see from previous games. I did see a lot of hay bales, and I did hear a lot of eagle screeching, so it seems like the hallmarks are still there at least. What do you think, audience? Are you ready for a new Assassin's Creed? Are you still upset about Unity? What do you think of Syndicate and all the new additions, characters, gameplay mechanizations added? Let us know what you think about Assassin's Creed Syndicate below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe for more.